The gift of the givers who are responsible for bringing water relief to the town of Makhanda in the Eastern Cape by successfully sinking 15 boreholes at a cost of 15 million rand are withdrawing their services. It comes after an announcement by the Department of Water and Sanitation that drought relief funding will only be made or paid to companies from Makhanda for drought intervention. For more on this story, we cross to our reporter, Jayed-Leigh Paulse, who's standing by for us in Makhanda. Jayed-Leigh, a very interesting story there. Why have they chosen to withdraw?
Well, I think everyone is in shock with regards to that statement that the founder of the Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, actually issued out yesterday, saying they're going to withdraw from Makhanda. They will no longer be offering their services. And this stems back to some agreement that the Gift of the Givers had with the municipality. But that seems to have now fallen through the holes, so to speak. And we're not sure of where it all went wrong. I know that my colleague Kim Daniels has also been tracking down the Department of Water and Sanitation, and they also issued out a statement saying that, there was no agreement with the Gift of the Givers. They did in fact have an agreement with the municipality. They are in talks with the municipality, and the municipality is the one who has to make sure that service providers who are helping with regards to the water issue in Makhanda are being paid. But just to unpack this and explain more in detail, I am joined by the municipal manager of Makhanda municipality, and he's going to be talking about where it all went wrong, what exactly happened. Is again in the spotlight, and for the wrong reasons. Let's just go straight to the point. What exactly happened with the Gift of the Givers, and why are they pulling out of Makhanda right now?
Thank you very much. Well, between ourselves and the Gift of the Givers, there's nothing wrong. We've got a very good relationship. I'm sure you've heard even to Dr. Suleiman that we've got a good relationship. What has then occurred is that immediately we then had the crisis. They came in very handy to us, and we appreciate substantively that. But what has occurred is that when we were supposedly to then put together the boreholes, they drilled the boreholes, they made sure that those boreholes are there. Now we're supposed then to make sure that those are connected to the system of Makhanda. The only thing that has happened from our side was that we're still dealing with the supply chain processes in terms of making sure that those particular boreholes that were drilled by Dr. Suleiman Georgie are then connected into our system, so that then the residents can then get the benefit of that. At present, that is the discussion that we have. It does seem for me that even this morning when I was having that discussion, that this particular discussion between ourselves and Georgie needs to be finalized, so that in the end we can then be in a position to make sure that we utilize those particular boreholes effectively for our benefit as the community of Makhanda.
But was there an agreement with Gift of the Givers? Was there a financial agreement? Because when one reads through that statement, it looks like there were talks of remuneration, that you would help out when the funds are channeled back from National Treasury. So Gift of the Givers coming out saying that they have now, gone up to 15 million rand in terms of helping, in terms of aiding Makhanda municipality. But now when it comes to paying out service providers, Makhanda municipality has paid out other service providers and not come to the table and and assisted them, whereas they were one of the first people on board to help the municipality out.
No, we don't have an agreement. What has occurred is that the Gift of the Givers then drilled boreholes. We then said to them, those boreholes must then be registered. Those boreholes needs to be put into proper coordinates. Those boreholes needs to make sure that the yield of that is then available. And out of that particular information, we need the information to be with us. We then said to them, what is going to be important? They said to us, no, the cost for them to make sure that they do all that particular work is about 1 million rand. We then said we need to then give a cost to that effect, so that in the process of our supply chain processes, we can then be in a position to make sure that those boreholes are connected. Hence, I'm saying then that in terms of our SCM, we are still processing that particular process with the down contractors they utilized in terms of making sure that those boreholes are drilled. That's the proposal that we're putting together. Otherwise, there's no agreement that we'll pay them, except that it's our need for us as a municipality to make sure that those boreholes are drilled, and those downstream contractors that they utilized are the best contractors that could be in a position to make sure that those boreholes are connected.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the contractors they utilized will be paid?
Yes, certainly. If we come to an agreement with what we are proposing to them, that they agree that those downstream contractors are going to connect those boreholes, certainly they will be paid, because we do have an amount of money that is available that has been given by National Treasury and the DWS for us to make sure that those boreholes are then connected to the system.
And once again, if you can just reiterate the fact that there was no agreement between the Gift of the Givers and Makhanda municipality in terms of funding them once they have helped aid the municipality.
Yes, there was no agreement. Gift of the Givers came to us and they said they're going to help us. That was the agreement. But what we are saying is that the reason for this one is because those boreholes are to be managed by us when Gift of the Givers comes out of the system, and therefore those particular filtration systems are to be managed by us, and therefore we need to understand what are the contents of that so that we can then be in a position to make sure that occurs. And the only people that can give us that information is the Gift of the Givers. Hence we are saying the downstream contractors of Gift of the Givers would be the best ones that could assist us in terms of that, and supply chain processes that we are ensuing with them are the ones that are going to enable us that process is free and fair for everybody else, to make sure that in the end the citizens of Makhanda are receiving the benefit out of those boreholes drilled by the Gift of the Givers.
Now, obviously we are a few weeks away from the Arts Festival, and seeing that the Gift of the Givers were actually the first people on board to help with the situation in Makhanda, to help with Day Zero not fast approaching, is there no concerns with regards to them now pulling out of the municipality, pulling out of the area?
Serious concerns, and to the extent that immediately I received the notice from Ali, I immediately said we need to have a session, we need to have a discussion, so that in the end this particular relationship we had cannot abruptly get off as a result of misunderstanding that we are not sure. And therefore, because Dr. Suleiman is arguing that the issue is with DWS, not with Makhanda. Hence, we are saying that we can't agree to that. I've spoken to the Speaker, I've spoken to the political parties that we need to invite Dr. Suleiman to the council meeting so that we can then rehash again the broken relations as a result of the situation, so that we can remend the relations and have a better footing, because we really need a Gift of the Givers towards the festival, because our situation has not normalized as yet.
Thank you very much for joining us, Emlyn. That was the municipal manager here at Makhanda Municipality, just unpacking where it all wrong with the Gift of the Givers pulling out. You know, the SABC, when we drove into the town, we saw several of the tankers leaving the municipality with the tanks, and it was very sad to see that they were pulling out of the municipality. But there you have it, the saying that it all went wrong with the Department of Water and Sanitation, and that there was clearly a misunderstanding, but also asking that the founder of the Gift of the Givers, Dr. Suleiman, can come and sit down with them so they can find an amicable way to resolve this situation. But yeah, that's where we leave it. We'll bring you more with the information down on the field. We'll be speaking to some of the locals as to how they feel about the Gift of the Givers pulling out of Makhanda Municipality. It's back to you in studio.
Thanks very much, Jayed-Leigh, for that report.